Pope Leo XIV has returned from his first apostolic journey to Turkey and Lebanon, a trip timed to the 1700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea and focused on unity, peace and dialogue. The journey began in Ankara, where he visited Atatürk's mausoleum and met Turkey's president and senior officials, urging the country to embrace its role as a bridge not only between Europe and Asia, but between religions, cultures and even nations experiencing conflict. In Istanbul, at the Cathedral of the Holy Spirit, he thanked the priests, religious and lay people who keep the Catholic community alive, telling them their mission is not to dominate, but to be, in his words, a little leaven in society. From there, he flew to İznik, ancient Nicaea, to mark the first Ecumenical Council that formulated the Nicene Creed. Side by side with Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I, he recited the Creed and prayed that Catholics and Orthodox might come together in full communion, and signed a joint declaration rejecting any use of God's name to justify violence. Back in Istanbul, Pope Leo visited the Blue Mosque in a gesture of respect to Turkey's Muslim majority. Unlike John Paul II, Benedict XVI and Francis, he chose not to participate in joint prayer, and the Vatican later clarified that the Pope experienced the visit in a spirit of contemplation and listening. On Saturday, Pope Leo XIV celebrated a Mass with around 4,000 faithful in the city's Volkswagen Arena, reminding Catholics from the Latin, Armenian, Chaldean and Syriac rites that their diversity is, as he put it, a Catholicity that unites. And on his last day, the Holy Father celebrated Divine Liturgy at the Patriarchal Church of St George in Istanbul, together with Patriarch Bartholomew I. In Lebanon, the second leg of his first apostolic journey, Pope Leo XIV came to a country wounded by war, cross-border attacks and years of economic collapse, but still home to one of the Middle East's largest Christian communities, around a third of the population. His second day in Lebanon began in silence at the tomb of St Charbel in Anaya. This was the first time a pope has ever prayed there, at a shrine where Christians and Muslims ask for the saint's intercession. From there, he travelled to the Marian shrine of Our Lady of Lebanon in Harissa, where he met bishops, priests, religious and lay workers and urged them to be peacemakers and keep hope alive in a time of crisis. Later, a crowd of 1,500 young people gathered at Girke to greet the Pope. The Holy Father expressed his gratitude and told the young people that although they live on land torn apart by wars, they hold something very precious that many people have lost, which is hope. He told them they have time to dream, to plan and do good, and that the young generation is the present and the future is in their hands. The passion they have has the ability to change the course of history. On his final day, Pope Leo visited the hospital de la Croix in Jalal-Dib, one of the largest psychiatric hospitals in the Middle East, run by the Franciscan Sisters of the Cross, telling patients and staff that we cannot forget the most fragile. He then held a moment of silent prayer at the Beirut port, where in 2022 the explosion killed over 200 people and injured thousands, meeting survivors and families who held photos of their loved ones. The trip wrapped up with an open-air Mass in Beirut, attended by around 150,000 people. There, Pope Leo spoke about Lebanon's rare beauty, but reminded everyone that violence and injustice can often overpower it. He urged the country and the whole region to stand up, open their hearts, and build a home of justice, fraternity and peace. In Rome, Zofia Chubak for EWTN, Great Britain.